First, WFAA has a team of reporters covering the races that'll decide who wields political power in Texas, from El Paso to Austin, and the judges' races in Dallas, Denton, and Collin County. We'll walk you through every aspect of election night.
Senior political reporter Jason Whiteley begins our team coverage tonight. All right, Jason, what are the candidates doing right now?
It is a busy day. Lots going on here, too, in North Texas. T-minus 2 hours. Hard to believe we're already here, though. This is the last-minute push. Many candidates remain out right now with 2 hours left until polls close. They're trying to get their supporters to the polls. The most high-profile race right now in Texas, it's the race for governor. Incumbent Greg Abbott clearly feeling confident about his chances for a third term. Abbott has led in the polls the entire campaign, and because of that, Abbott's campaign decided not to hold any public appearances on this election day. Democrat Beto O'Rourke, though, he is on a whirlwind trip through Texas. We caught up with him when he made a stop at Fretz Park. This is in North Dallas during the lunch hour. And O'Rourke said that at the time, just a few hours ago, hundreds of thousands of Texas voters had yet to cast a ballot. And that prompted us to ask him this question. Congressman, where are those voters? Where are those voters, though, right now? We've been looking for those voters, and everyone's asking, where are they?
Those voters are turning out in record numbers today. We really saw an increase starting on Friday, the last day of early voting, and it looks like it's continuing through today with 7 hours to go before these polls close here in Dallas County. We're going to make sure that we do everything within our power to get every single voter out and voting.
That conversation just a few hours ago. At this hour, though, we have reporters spread out across the state, as Cynthia and Chris said. They're with candidates and campaigns from the governor's race all the way down the ballot.
I'm Teresa Woodard in McAllen, where Greg Abbott will spend this election night. He was first elected Texas governor in 2014. He was reelected in 2018, and he's hoping to make that happen again in 2022. If it does happen, it would match former Governor Rick Perry's 3 terms in office as Texas governor. It would also extend the streak of Republicans running this state to more than 3 decades.
I'm Morgan Young in El Paso, where Beto O'Rourke will hold his election night watch party. Like you heard from Jason, he made a stop in Dallas today, as well as San Antonio and Houston. That last-minute push to get people to the polls, and he's really driving home his message of his plans to improve things like the power grid, access to health care and education, and access to abortion. All things he says he plans to address if he is elected tonight.
I'm Natalie Haddad in Austin, and this evening we'll be with the Texas Democratic Party, including candidate for Lieutenant Governor Mike Collier. Now, just a reminder, this contest is a rematch for him. In 2018, he lost narrowly to current Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick with only 46% of the vote.
We're here in Houston with the Dan Patrick campaign. Dan Patrick seeking his 3rd term as lieutenant governor. That office presides over the Texas Senate. Great influence and power over the Texas ledge. A chance for voters to tell him what they think of the job he's doing. He faces Mike Collier just as he did 4 years ago.
Well, I'm Jobin Pueniker here in Houston for the Rochelle Garza campaign. Rochelle is the Democratic candidate for Attorney General. She's the young civil rights attorney from the Rio Grande Valley. Now, her platform all along has been the reproductive rights of women, protecting Texans as consumers, and also a humane way of immigration reform. The question will be, will she be able to pull enough moderate conservatives tonight? The election watch party will be right here in downtown Houston. I'm Jobin Pueniker here in Houston.
I'm Matt Howerton in Plano, covering Attorney General Ken Paxton's watch party. Political experts say this might be the most vulnerable race for the GOP when it comes to statewide office. However, the Ken Paxton campaign is remaining confident. If he did lose, though, it'd be the first time a Democratic challenger would hold a statewide office since 1994. However, Paxton looking to clinch his 3rd term in office.
All right, polls close 1 hour, 54 minutes. When they start to close, Jason Wheeler will get the earliest results right here on the big board.
And then it really gets busy. And as you know, Jason, most of that result that we get in at 7 o'clock when the polls close, that is most of the vote that we're expected to see tonight. Now, this will all start filling in when those early votes drop in here at 7 o'clock. There are some exceptions this evening, though. Right here in Bell County, just south of Waco, polls are going to be staying open until 8 o'clock there because they were late to open today. So we won't see that early vote probably until 8 o'clock. Also, of course, out in El Paso, they are on Mountain Time. So we will see those results results pop at 8 o'clock as well, our time. Everything else should start to populate in here at about 7 o'clock. We do know that the early vote has been down in much of Texas, down by a lot in some places, and that includes the major population centers. And I just want to bring this up here because we thought, well, maybe that means that a lot of these people are going to be voting on Election Day. This is what it looks like out in Tarrant County right now. The green says that these are the polling places where there's no wait. There's a slight wait at the yellow ones, and we don't see any red in here where the wait would be up to an hour. So it looks like those votes have come in that are going to come in. You do still have a little while to get out there, though, and make your voice heard. Let's get to Sydney Persing, who is in Fort Worth. They're in Tarrant County at one of those polling locations. How's it been looking today, Sydney?
Hey, Jason, good evening. So we know earlier this morning in Arlington over at Grace Community Church, there was a brief holdup. The election judge there told our crews in the morning that because of the humidity, there was a machine having issue taking the paper. Well, that has since been resolved. And the good news, we have not heard any reports like that across the rest of Tarrant County. Here in Fort Worth, I'm at North High Mount Elementary School. And as you can see behind me, very smooth sailing. Everyone's telling me it's been easy, very short wait times. And as those folks have been going in, I've been pulling them over and saying, how's it going? Tell me how you're feeling. I asked one gentleman, what's your message to our viewers? Take a listen.
I'm really excited for this election to be over with. I'm really excited for the midterms to be over with. I'm dreading the fact that we've got presidential candidates already positioning to make announcements in the next couple of weeks. It feels like all we are doing is fighting.
Well, from speaking with voters out here, I can tell you he is not alone in that feeling. A couple quick stats for you about here in Tarrant County. Since 2018, Tarrant County has added about 150,000 registered voters. How those voters will play into what we see here in Tarrant, one of the most watched Texas counties, we will have to wait and see. I'm going to send it over now to my colleague, Melanie Basu. She is in Collin County. Melanie?
Yeah, Sydney, we're here at the Haggard Public Library in Plano, where all throughout the day there has been a steady stream of voters. Take a look just to the left of me over here. Voters tell me they've waited in line for about 35 minutes. Many in Collin County want to see change because of all the growth here. We went around to some of the busiest polling locations throughout the county. We stopped off at the Gay Public Library in McKinney, where people waited about 10 to 15 minutes to get their vote in. We spoke to many first-time voters who showed up. One person tells me there that their parents waited years to become citizens and to vote, and he wants to make them proud. Over at the Allen Municipal Court, we talked to a pilot. He tells us he travels around the world and he wants to educate people about America and their rights. And here where we are at the Haggard Public Library, we spoke to many voters, and a key issue on their mind is the economy, taxes, and inflation.
Outside people moving here, it is a good thing, and it tells you the strong things about the Texas. And but again, our housing, the cost goes so high, and people's expenses.
It was a lot quicker than I expected.
And that was just one first-time voter you heard from. Just to give you an idea, since the last midterm elections, there have been now 115,000 new voters here in Collin County alone. That right there tells you the amount of people here. For now, we're live in Collin County. I'll send it back to you, Jason.